Yo, it's boy Marcus and Morsini back from the video. Today, we're doing a Warzone Mobile 1-year anniversary recap and pretty much covering everything from beta to today, where this gameplay was actually recorded today. So we have a lot to talk about and a lot to dig into. One thing, as you see me turning on push to talk to my teammates, the rest of this gameplay, after that point right there, will not have game audio. Didn't know that until today, so now I know. Just letting you know that, because really you're here for my glorious voice. Anyway, the hype for this game was probably one of its biggest downfalls. I mean, this is probably the most hyped mobile game ever of all time. The COD mobile hype was pretty high. PUBG and all these other big games that have come out for mobile devices had a lot of hype, but nothing like what this game had. After COD mobile being such a huge success, we kind of expected that this game would follow suit with a huge success, and that could not be further from the truth. So with the hype and beta time of Warzone Mobile, we have a couple of big things, right? So you had people flying out to go play Warzone Mobile early in like London, and there were good things about the game, right? People had good things to say. There were a lot of problems with the game, so that's kind of expected during the beta, right? That's why you have the beta, is so that you can fix and iron out all these big issues. That way, going forward, you won't really have those same problems and you can get them fixed. That wasn't necessarily the case. So beta rolls around, everybody plays it, they give their feedback, and then there's just a ton of delays, right? The game gets delayed back to like November, and then it gets delayed like a whole year, and then it finally comes out on the 21st of March in 2024, right? So it finally comes out, and this is where we get into like the main life cycle of the game starts, right? Once it fully releases and everybody can just download it and play it, that's when the life cycle starts. Only not everybody could download it and play it. So one of the biggest problems with this game in the beginning of its life cycle was Android users not being able to download the game, right? And alienating your player base is never a good thing, right? So not having people even have the ability to download the game is terrible, and that hurts you in the long run. So one of the big issues was the heating issues, and this has been a problem for a year, right? A lot of the low-end devices, which most people do play on, have heating issues with this game, even to this day. Now, I don't know if I'm on a low-end device. I play on an iPhone 13, so that's what you're seeing this gameplay on. It seems to run super crisp and smooth for me. I haven't had any problems. I played about 6 games in a row, and it absolutely phenomenal. This game was actually the buggiest game of all of them, because people were like grayed out and things like that. I'm assuming that's because this is squads and the rest were solos, or the game just has a bug for that kind of thing. But for the most part, it's been pretty good, just a FYI. But you will see bugs throughout this gameplay where it's just like, man, the map is like tearing and things like that. Kind of expected. You know, they definitely need to fix this stuff. So with that being said, the UI issues throughout the game's life cycle, but mainly in the beginning, right? The user interface was terrible, and just like the way the game looked and manipulated and felt wasn't necessarily anything like COD Mobile, right? Because the COD Mobile comparison to Warzone Mobile is like, when you look at Warzone Mobile, you're going to immediately look at COD Mobile and compare them side to side. It just is what it is. So the UI issues were significant in terms of the actual way that you operate and play the game. I remember when I first downloaded this game and nobody was really talking. But when I found somebody that did talk, I couldn't add them. The only way to add somebody was to remember their full name and the numbers after it, and then type that in to the add players, and then that's how you could add somebody as a friend. So that's not necessarily a good thing. That's something that even to this day is still a problem. If I wanted to add somebody I play with in this game, I would have to go into recent players and hope they popped up on top, or search through it all. So that's always been a basic fundamental thing that should be in every COD, but it's just been lacking in Warzone Mobile. Basic graphic settings damaging phones, that's another sort of topic to talk about, man. So with phones are like, I don't think they were getting bricked. Like, it wasn't bricking people's phones, which is like making them unusable, right? You're pretty much done with the phone once it gets bricked. But then like it would cause your phone to overheat to an insane degree. So phones are usually about 20 or 30 degrees when you should be playing like COD Mobile or really any other mobile game. But when you're playing Warzone Mobile, it would get up to about 50 degrees. That's like, another 20 degrees in heat. That's insane for your phone and really hurts the battery life overall. So with that kind of feature, that really turns people away. You know what I mean? I literally remember my phone burning in my hand. And I was like sweating. My hand and fingers were sweating onto the screen, making it harder for me to hit people. So it's definitely a huge issue that has been, that was everybody's main thing. You always see their memes, like on the Warzone Mobile Instagram page, you just see memes and pictures of phones on fire. And that was all it was. You know what I mean? Because that was the biggest issue. Even if you could play the game, which people could, but it wasn't really playable because your phone was so hot at that time. So lag is also kind of a big deal. The servers really weren't ready for the amount of players coming in on launch day. Too many people hopping on at one time, and the servers really weren't play tested for that kind of experience. So that was a big problem back in the early days. Right now, it's actually fine, but that's part of the inclusion of bots and like how they did that. So there were also login issues because what the whole thing with Warzone Mobile was supposed to do was to connect your PlayStation or Xbox or whatever your account is on console to your Warzone Mobile account and play on the go. You know what I mean? You could play on your toilet, you could play wherever, and you'll still be making that same progress on that account. That's a cool idea. That's actually a great idea. I love that. But you couldn't even log in. So what was the point of that? You know what I mean? That's a big problem that they had. Another issue that kind of aligns with sort of the technical side of making the game is the CPU and GPU with the IW engine. So the engine they used to make this game was the IW engine. It wasn't necessarily good for mobile devices. It was more so made for like your consoles and PCs. So your phones were literally not compatible with this game and couldn't download this game because of that fact. Low-end devices have also been neglected pretty much the entire time of this game's life cycle, but mainly in the beginning when it couldn't even download the game. So with that kind of issue, you never really know how to like the perception of the game when you can't play the game is different. You know what I mean? Like I remember people saying, I've never even played Warzone Mobile, but I hate the game. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't play the game. So that's a whole different thing in terms of how high the hype was to the launch day. And people just, oh, I'm so excited to play, hop in. And then the game looks like absolute dirt. You know what I mean? It's terrible. If you could even look at it. I remember you would get stuck under the map all the time. So then you're not even seeing the map. You're like not even on the map. You're below the map. So there's a big controversy that happened with Warzone Mobile and people saying it would sunset COD Mobile. So sunset meaning COD Mobile would go away, it would die, and then Warzone Mobile would take its place, and that would be the game we play. That really tainted everyone's opinion of Warzone Mobile immediately, right? Because COD Mobile was a beloved game, even at the time of Warzone Mobile's first entrance, when we first heard about Warzone Mobile coming. Everybody loved COD Mobile. We were in the heyday, right? Like first prime of COD Mobile. Like it was a blast to play that game. And hearing that you're about to take away this game that I've spent $1,000+ on, that's insane. Nobody wants to hear that. I've got $1,000 investment into this. You know what I mean? It's terrible. By the way, we're trying to buy a loadout and we can't communicate. That's why you're watching whatever you're watching right now. So that led to some insane community hate, which really, I say it's a little bit, too much. I could play the game. So when the launch happened, I was able to play the game. I was like, it's actually fun. I have always, since this game came out, said that Warzone Mobile BR is more fun to play than COD Mobile BR. I love COD Mobile BR. It gets boring, I'll be honest. Here, I feel like if this was functioning at the level that COD Mobile BR was, it would be more played. Like, I think it's that same nostalgia feeling that they tried to bring out with Warzone Mobile, bringing back Verdansk and all this stuff, that will bring that kind of vibe out of people. And it brings it out of me. You know what I mean? Anybody who played Verdansk back in the COVID days remembers what an absolute blast that was. You know what I mean? That was like one of the true peaks of game. You think of like maybe Prime Fortnite, your GTA 5 days, and then you got, Warzone on Verdansk with the boys. You'll always have that. So that's what this was trying to bring back up. So I always remember that with fondly, and that was a big part of the selling point for this game, is bringing back Verdansk to mobile devices. That's why it never really got brought back on console, in part. So another thing with the like right around the launch time were all the pre-registrations for this game. About 50 million people pre-registered this game. That's a ton of people. And the sponsorships and the marketing were a pretty big issue. So like people, I remember like pro athletes were marketing this game. You know, you just see them on like COD Warzone Mobile Instagram, and they would be like, hey, I'm out here with, I don't know, Ocho Cinco or whatever wide receiver it was that I remember seeing, Odell Beckham Jr., whoever it was that is a pro athlete, in these sponsorships and this marketing and just how the game was marketed as a whole, right? So what they did was try to market it for everybody. But marketing a game for everybody when not everybody can actually physically play the game when you launch it is a terrible idea, right? You're marketing it for everyone, but then not everyone can play it, right? You literally alienated all of the Android users, which is about half your player base, right? A lot of people have Android phones that would want to play Warzone Mobile or play COD Mobile, and not allowing them to play the game is a terrible idea. So in that time, that same time period, right, you got all these pre-registrations, the game comes out. Within 24 hours, it becomes the most uninstalled game ever on the Google Play Store, right? Like, that's an insane stat right there. Like, most uninstalled game in the Google Play Store ever within a 24-hour launch period, right? People downloaded it, they played it one time, and they're like, I'm out, peace. You know what I mean? Or they couldn't even play it. They tried to download it, they couldn't. And then they just uninstalled it and went to Instagram and wrote hate comments. So that's certainly not helping. So within a couple weeks of the launch of the game, one of the things that they decided to do, because of the dwindling player base, right? Because you had people come to the game, right? Didn't like it, didn't enjoy it. So they had to do something, right? Because they're not going to just kill the game. But they decided to put bots in. So I remember back when the game came out, there were not, like, it was pretty much real people, like, all over the place, right? I think there were bots, but it was so little. You were running into real people all the time. One of the big notifications for bots versus real people currently in the game is the bots will go straight prone. They'll straight drop shot you immediately, but they won't hit you for as much damage. That's how you know. If your health bar is not going down super fast because the actual enemy is a real person they're hitting you, then you kind of know it's a bot. But it's kind of confusing. So a good way to kind of get around that in the current life cycle of the game is to drop shot people, because people might think you're bots, because the bots will straight drop shot you. Or they'll run away, or they'll do the other bot mechanics. But one of the weird ones is that they'll drop shot you, which is like a mechanic that real people would do. You know what I mean? So the addition of bots at that time really put a lot of people off, right? Because the whole selling point was, hey, we're putting 100 real people on the map. You know what I mean? That's awesome, right? COD Mobile doesn't have that. We got 12 real people on the map. We got 3 real teams, and that's it. Everybody else is a bot. So that on the COD Mobile side, you know, you have quick loading times, but like that really puts people off, having to just shoot bots the whole time. People want to play against real people. They want that feeling. They want to earn a win. You know what I mean? They don't want to just be given a win. They queue in and they win. Like, I win half my games in COD Mobile. You know what I mean? That's terrible. I probably win more than half my games in this game, but that's because the player base has dwindled down so much. Anyway, so another issue with the Warzone mobile experience. Let's get into the multiplayer. I have so much for this. So removing maps from COD Mobile to bring players to Warzone Mobile was a terrible idea. So they were removing like Scrapyard. I don't think they ever removed Shipment, but they probably thought about that. Scrapyard, Shipment, Hard Hat, and one other map, whatever the other one is that's in this game. Terrible maps, but they just were like copy and pasting them over, trying to bring people over here to want to play this game more, because these maps are over here and no longer in COD Mobile. Didn't work. It was actually a terrible idea. Full of terrible ideas, honestly. There are a lot of terrible ideas. So that really ruined the sort of player base outlook on Warzone Mobile, like this active attempt to destroy COD Mobile, which is the far superior game at the time. And now it's just a whole different look for people to actually look into how this game is, how it plays, and just the perspective of it. With multiplayer, you know, when you release a multiplayer experience for COD, there's a few basic expectations, right? And even now, they still don't meet these. But like, they had a combat record. You know, they actually pulled the combat record out of the game recently, so you can't see like how many kills you have, your stats, all that good stuff. I haven't been able to find that. I don't know where that's at. But they had a nice, really well working one when the game came out. One of my favorite things about the game. You can go back to my commentaries back then, me talking about, hey, they got a nice combat record. I like having that. I like seeing the progress. Now, with things like that, they kind of got rid of those. And then when they get rid of stuff, that's a problem. You know what I mean? They get rid of it, bring it back, get rid of it, bring it back. It's not good for people who just want to play the game on a consistent basis and expect the same thing. Another issue is these massive updates that they were doing. They've done these throughout the life cycle, these huge updates. Like when you have Warzone Mobile on your phone, that should be all you have, because it's this big of a game that just takes up a ton of space, especially if you're on a low-end device where you just don't have the space. And when you can download COD Mobile and just have that same experience but better, you know what I mean, it's not worth it to play Warzone Mobile. That being said, the servers were a big issue with the player base, but they've kind of been fixed over time. I feel like now when I queue into a game, I see a good bit of real people. The issue with Warzone Mobile is people don't really play it that much. So when you run into real people, everybody's terrible, right? I'm terrible. Like, you're watching me and I'm able to slide around and all this stuff. But people play in just such a weird way because nobody's used to this game. It's got one of the most confusing HUD layouts ever. When you queue into this game for the first time, you look at your HUD, there are buttons everywhere. There's so many buttons, you can't keep up with nothing. So that kind of issue definitely is something that, like, you got to ease the player base in. You got to remember, when you're releasing a mobile game, a lot of people are just thumbs players, right? We forget people like myself who have been playing COD M for a really long time, and they're used to being like more of a sweaty player. I'm sweaty on console, I'm sweaty on mobile, doesn't matter. That most of the player base is thumbs players. I myself I'm a thumbs player, but a lot of the sweats are 3, 4, 5, 6 finger players. So this game is not geared towards that experience. This game was honestly almost made for the controller side experience, right? They released this game because you could play controller players and mobile players in the same lobby. That brought in a whole different set of worms to deal with, right? Because let's be honest, the controller as an input is far better. And if you were running this game on a controller, you were probably having a blast for the last year, because you're just destroying mobile players. And if you're not destroying mobile players, you're destroying bots, and you're practically unkillable. I've run into a couple of good controller players here, and it's insane, right? Especially with the movement changes. So when this game launched, we had the Modern Warfare 2 2022 movement system, which didn't really allow for slide canceling like that. We still had sliding, but it wasn't good. And then they made the change over to Omni movement. That was a phenomenal change. Omni movement in this game feels way better than that basic movement from like Modern Warfare 2 2022. And it really did, have an impact, in my opinion. Gameplay's faster. It feels better. It kind of has a better overall gameplay to it. The gunplay looks better. Just a general better experience overall. Now, with that happening, in about November 14th, 2024, that's the date I have written down, that was Season 1 being introduced into Warzone Mobile. So when they bring all that in, they brought in all kinds of stuff, right? They bring in all the BO6 guns. So we had the Modern Warfare 2 guns, and then a couple months later, we got the Modern Warfare 3 guns, right? Because that was the title at the time. And then BO6 launches, and then we get all the BO6 guns. So now, we're looking at a base of weapons on par with COD Mobile. COD Mobile has like 130-ish guns or weapons in total. I'm thinking that this game is about on par with that. You can use guns from MW2, MW3, and BO6. That's a ton of weapons. Now, that brings it to its own problems, because now all these weapons have to have their own damage profiles, all this good stuff. That's a lot of development spent just on weapons. With that said, there's also a lot of issues that have been covered with the stickers, emblems, characters, that stuff transferring over, all that good stuff. One of the big things that I've heard people say about this game in different ways, but like that the only thing that works is the store. Consistently over the past year, the only aspect of this game that's worked on a consistent basis is the store, so that you can buy stuff. That people would say it's essentially a mobile place for buying skins for your PC and console profiles. You know what I mean? It's just a mobile store. The game is a side part. This is really just a store for you to buy stuff. That's probably more true than I would like to think. If it makes money, it makes sense, and they're trying to make money. It's a business. It is what it is. We know what Activision is as a community, so we kind of expect that thing. And it's a big problem for the game for it to be that way, but that's just, some things you can't change. And maybe one day it will, but this is a problem that COD's been having for years. Console, PC, it doesn't matter. Now, another issue is the terrible timing with COD M and underestimating the players' love for COD M. So the impact of Warzone Mobile and how it's been affected by COD Mobile, people saying that COD Mobile is going to go away. That's terrible because COD Mobile is the biggest game on earth, right? It's the biggest mobile game on the planet, right? PUBG was for a long time, then COD Mobile come out, and then next thing you know, COD Mobile took the mobile gaming scene by storm. And saying that you're going to take away your favorite game is not a good idea to do to anybody. So that was just a terrible idea and a really tough competition, right? Competing with COD Mobile, I mean, it's the most fully fleshed out mobile game there is. There's so much content. There's all that good stuff that it has that Warzone Mobile just didn't have on launch. It was just, there wasn't enough stuff. We only had 5 multiplayer maps, just a couple of modes, you know what I mean? And it was like, what are we doing here? So with those kind of issues, it really puts a burden on the game overall. Now, there's kind of that aspect of the time where it's just kind of like getting towards where we are now. So what's going on with Warzone Mobile now, right? Because in the past couple months, I've been playing a lot more myself, and I've really been enjoying the game. I feel like they've actually made an attempt to make this game a better game that's more fun for people to play. So playing it now, what's it like? Is it fun? Multiplayer, I still say sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. It still sucks. There's no search and destroy. It's really just like, I don't know, kill confirm, TDM, and maybe domination or hardpoint or something. It's not fun to play multiplayer. I'll keep it honest with you. It's not fun. The maps aren't fun. I've been playing these maps in COD Mobile the past 5 years, 4 hours a day, every day for 5 years. It's just not fun to play these same maps. There's so many maps in the COD franchise they could have brought in. They didn't do it. And here we are with this game kind of playing the way it is right now. So that's terrible, and that needs to change going forward. Now, with the current state of the game, there are so many things I love about the BR side. I really think the BR side is underrated right now. I think people need to start hopping back on here. Maybe give it a try, see if you're enjoying it. It's a lot of fun for me. I have been having an absolute blast on the BR side in the past few months. I feel like they've actually made the adjustments that I want to see them make. The pretty much systems feel smoother. There are bugs and issues, like when you go buy your loadout, you can't get out of there sometimes. And it's because the X button will turn white. You're not actually stuck, but the X button is the same color as the rest of the screen. So if you don't know where the X button to get out of there is, you're just stuck in there until you tap your screen enough times to find it. That's a terrible bug that has gotten me killed. So I highly suggest they fix that. But there's always going to be like little bugs here and there. They release these huge patch notes that make all these changes. And when they do that, it's kind of hard to, not have bugs, right? COD Mobile over the years has released patch and changes all the time, and it has bugs all the time. So it's kind of expected that we'll have a couple things here and there, but they got to fine tune a lot of these features over the course of time. One of my big things with Warzone Mobile overall is the MP versus BR thing. I will say, if you want an MP experience, don't ever play this game. Just going forward until they fix it, right? There's a lot of things they have in the works that have been leaked recently that are good changes, right? There's been a leaked ranked mode to come to Warzone Mobile in the next season, which is awesome, right? I mean, everybody in COD Mobile really plays as ranked, right? There are people who play pubs, but those are super casuals. And then it's ranked BR. So ranked is super exciting. It's a feature that a lot of people will be like, okay, I might come back to that game, right? There's also a leaked new BR map. It's not a new map, but it's Al Mazrah from Modern Warfare 2 2022. So if you played that game on console, you might remember that map. Why they would bring back that map when they haven't fully fixed this map, I don't know. But that has been leaked. It's in the game files, so at some point in time, probably in the next year, they'll probably bring that back. I think that's a terrible idea. It'll dilute the player base even more. Just keep Verdansk, perfect this baby, make it right, and then work on, bringing in new things, new maps, new multiplayer maps are planning on coming, because if you want to release a ranked mode, you should probably have some multiplayer maps to go alongside of it. And that, I think it's called Crown Raceway from Modern Warfare 2 2022 and Mercado Las Almas, which was a competitive map in that game. That's exciting because, if we do get that competitive scene, running around with Omni movement on those maps will make them play probably a lot better, because those weren't the best maps. So There's a lot of things coming down the pipeline and features that I think are going to be super fun. Prestige systems in the game already. Battle Pass, new guns, XP systems have been revamped, so they're better for you. There's a lot of things that are better about this game than there were when this game came out. It's made progress, and that's what's important. It's not necessarily just being given up on and thrown to the wayside. It's getting better over time, and that's what people want to see. Warzone Mobile as a whole, and in conclusion here, some games have a rough start. This game has had arguably the roughest possible start to any game ever of all time on a mobile device, and maybe even not on a mobile device. It's just, when you launch it too early, it has those problems, and you have competition, right? It's not like on console where there's nothing else that really competes with COD, right? Here you have COD Mobile, and that's probably the best mobile game ever made. So when you got competition like that, you got to step up, and they should not have released this game when they did, and that was probably one of the biggest downfalls of Warzone Mobile. That being said, I just kind of want to use this end part of the video to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the support on the channel. The growth has been amazing. It took me a long time to make this video, and I appreciate the consistent support from you guys. It means a lot. I love doing this. I'm always going to do it for as long as I possibly can, and I just hope that people sort of, give this game a shot again. I think if you have a better end device, that you'll actually enjoy Warzone Mobile, especially the BR. If you have played on console and have that Verdansk, like, hey, you know what, it's back type of vibe to you, I think you will enjoy being able to play this game on a mobile device. And I feel like on a higher end device or on a controller, on an iPad, or like whatever the higher level experiences would be that you could access, right? An iPad or a controller on an iPad, or if you have like a newer phone that can run this game well, coming back to it, I think you'll have a lot of fun playing BR. As always, you can always hit me up. I play this game pretty often now. I'm really enjoying it, and I think that other people might as well. It had a rough start, and just like with COD Mobile, people forget that COD Mobile had a rough start too, and that it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows back then. The game was a lot better than this game was when it launched, but there were a lot of problems with that game as well. So with issues like, people being invisible, people being literally grayed out, as we've seen probably in this gameplay overall, in the first gameplay as well, those kind of problems happen, and it is what it is. It'll get fixed eventually, but I still feel like you can still have a good time playing this game, and the experience overall is something that worth retrying. Just give it another chance. Maybe you won't like it. You know what? It's not worth your time. It takes too much to re-download. I get it. But I do feel like I've enjoyed this game a lot. Nobody's really advocating for Warzone Mobile. Nobody really wants to watch Warzone Mobile content. So that's why I haven't really posted a lot of it on my channel, even though I'm still playing it a fair bit. I just think that it's going to have a time to sort of make up for lost time. And that could be over this next year. I'll see you guys in a year from now with this video talking about the changes made. And I think people will have a better experience going forward. The game looks a lot better than it used to. This game used to look atrocious. So it actually looks, I can see grass now. You know what I mean? There's actually grass in the ground. That's crazy. So I've had a lot of fun playing this game. This second clip, just kind of wanted to cover this for you guys because you guys know I like to break stuff down. I'm in a 1v1 here, and I thought I wasn't recording. That's why you saw me pop that up there. I was like, so what happened in this game was I was on like 24 kills, and I died to this other YouTuber, whatever his name is, Joe Mar. You'll see me kill him here in a second. And he killed me twice, and I was like, man, I was doing so good. And then I go and I delete it because I got to record the next video, which you already just saw. And I was like, dude, get back into the game. And I'm in the game because there was a, what do you call it when everybody comes back on the map? Like a resurgence? Not resurgence, that's Rebirth Island. But that, when everybody who's still watching in the game can come back into the game, that happened. So I came back and I was like, oh shit, I'm still playing. So it was pretty crazy. I didn't know that. I totally forgot that was a thing. And it being in COD Mobile, or not in COD Mobile, but it being in Warzone Mobile was a good feature. So able to actually finally kill this guy. Shout out to him. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, this was just kind of an add-on part of this video. I kind of wanted to, just show some love, show some support. You guys do that for me, so I'm just doing it back. Probably see some giveaways coming in the future for COD Mobile Battle Passes and things of that nature. I don't think anybody wants the Warzone Mobile Battle Pass, but if you do actually play this game, and if that was an option, which it's probably not, I would, do that for you guys. So I appreciate the support on the channel. It's been awesome to make this video and enjoy this game and kind of cover everything, just an overall analysis on everything that's happened throughout the game's life cycle and whatnot. So yeah, if you guys feel free to comment down below your thoughts on Warzone Mobile. If you've actively played this game, definitely let me know what you think, because you've actually got more experience and time played. If you're one of those people, you're out there who just never really gave this game a chance, your opinion kind of is invalidated, but feel free to share that your phone was hot. And yeah, it's been your boy Marcus Morcini. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.